Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we living. With the NBA regular season winding down, I'm going to do a video I always enjoy doing, not just for the NBA. I do it for NFL and MLB as well. That is my all mostly went undrafted team, and I'm talking about fantasy NBA basketball when I talk about that. So basically how it works. You were eligible to make this team if you weren't one of the top 180 ranked players. How did I get player rankings? I used the website Fantasy Pros, which took the average draft position from Yahoo, ESPN, and CBS, put them in their rankings. So if the player was ranked over 180, he could be included. How did I get 180? Well, a standard league usually has 13 rounds, let's say 12 teams, that's 156 players. To make it more likely that the player wasn't drafted, I acted as if it was a 15 round draft. So 15 rounds, 12 players, that's 180 players drafted. Now, obviously, not all these guys uh, completely went undrafted in every draft, but in all likelihood, they were taken late if they were drafted. Not every fantasy basketball draft is the same. They were still valuable, whether they were drafted late or went undrafted. So for this, I'm going to name two guards, two forwards, and a center. I was going to differentiate by position, but I really wanted the five best guys, and it was hard to find a point guard that was anywhere close to as valuable as these five guys here. So let's get into it, starting with Knicks guard Dante DiVincenzo. His first season with the team, and has he been a three-point threat as he has connected on 262 threes this season. That is a new franchise record, and it's currently the third most in the NBA, only behind Steph Curry and Luka Doncic, averaging a career high 15.2 points per game. Started the season as a reserve to Quentin Grimes. Grimes later traded, but before that, DiVincenzo's play helped him get inserted into the starting lineup. The other guard, let's go with 22-year-old Cam Thomas of the Brooklyn Nets. Now, entering the season, it was widely assumed that Mikal Bridges would be the Nets' best scorer. Instead, it is Thomas who's leading the team in scoring, as his play has went up quite a bit. 31.3 minutes per game compared to 16.6 last season. His scoring average is more than double, 22.2 points per game this season compared to 10.6 last season. He's connecting on 2.1 threes per game, getting to the line quite frequently, 5.1 times per game, and shooting them at an 85% clip. Cam Thomas has the highest season-to-season scoring average increase from 2022-23 to 2023-24. One of the forwards, let's go Jaylen Johnson, Atlanta Hawks, another 22-year-old. Now, the Hawks finally moved on from John Collins. That was widely speculated and rumored it would occur for, 3 years now. It finally happened. He was traded to the Jazz. That helped insert Johnson into the starting lineup, and he's playing, 19 more minutes per game than he did last season, shooting at over 50%, 50.8% from the field. He's become at least an adequate three-point shooter after struggling from beyond the arc his first two seasons, making 1.3 threes per game, but 16.1 points, just 5.6 last season. Also averaging 8.7 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 1.2 steals, 0.9 blocks. Johnson could arguably be the MVP of this five-man roster. But the other two guys, we got Denny Avdia, other forward, Washington Wizards, 23 years old. Avdia, of course, the Wizards are one of the worst teams in the league, but he is a full-time starter, getting his most playing time, 29.7 minutes per game, after shooting no better than 43.7% from the field and 31.7% from three in each of his first three seasons. This season, he's shooting 50.8% from the field, 37.7% from three, 1.1 threes per game. averaging 14.4 points, 7.2 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and honestly, he's been putting up even better numbers of late. And the center, um, thought about a few guys here. In the end, I went with Isaiah Hartenstein, also of the New York Knicks. Now, the season started with Mitchell Robinson as the starting center. Early on, Robinson went out with an ankle injury, was out about 4 months. Hartenstein was inserted in the starting lineup and has performed quite well, shooting 63.7% from the field, um, averaging 7.5 points, but 8.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and those assist numbers have been going up of late as well. And 2.3 stocks per game, 1.2 steals, 1.1 blocks. So he's a guy that stuffs the box score. Not quite dominant at every category, but very good at most of them besides 3 pointers. So Isaiah Hartenstein, I decided to make my center. Some other guys I considered include Tim Hardaway Jr., Max Strus, Malik Beasley, Andrew Nemhard, Keontae George. He could have been my point guard, but um, the shooting percentages just weren't there for me to do it. Nick Richards and Kelly Olynyk. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who were some of your best free agent pickups in fantasy basketball? Who did you maybe draft late that performed quite well? Just a fun thing I like doing for most sports. The all undrafted 2023-24 fantasy basketball team, and actually all mostly went undrafted. We know some of these guys may have been drafted late in some of their fantasy drafts. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.